una santa, ni yo soy un santo. Nos conocimos pecando. Ahora me estás buscando porque quieres más de mí. Y yo te lo doy. Te vienes y me voy. Te lo dije que te era pa' jugar, que no te podía enamorar. Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas estar igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta. Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas estar igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta.
Mami, somos polo positivo y negativo. A la flecha de Cupido siempre me la esquivo. Tenemos secretos guardados en el archivo. No va a haber confianza si contigo convivo. Baby, estás calentándote, yo calentándome. Y tú dices que tú eres brava, pero a veces te me quitas y vuelve y me cita. Pero yo no soy el hombre que necesita.
Ya no voy con labia, no.
Tú sabías la que había, baby.
El romance no es mi área, no.
No me digas que te enamoraste de mí.
Yo no voy con labia, no.
Tú sabías la que había, baby.
El romance no es mi área, no.
No me digas que te enamoraste de mí.
Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas estar igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta. Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas estar igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta. No me digas que me quieres, no me digas que me amas. Tú sabes que no te creo, mucho menos en tu cama. Seguimos envueltos en la bellaquera, ey, ey, la noche entera. Eso de enamorarse no es pa' cualquiera. Que el corazón dentro de la nevera lo tengo frío, frío. Sorry, pero en nadie confío. Tú sigues en lo tuyo, yo en lo mío. Buenas noches, fue un placer, ey, pero no me va a convencer. Ya no voy con labia, no.
Tú sabías la que había, baby.
El romance no es mi área, no.
No me digas que te enamoraste de mí.
Yo no voy con labia, no.
Tú sabías la que había, baby.
El romance no es mi área, no.
No me digas que te enamoraste de mí. Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas ver igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta.
Y ahora me quieres cambiar, sabiendo cómo soy, tú sabes lo que doy. No te hagas estar igual, no te hagas la santa, el perreo te encanta.
Mucho party, mucho money. Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny. Mucho party, mucho money. Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny.
Welcome to Washington Hall. Before we begin, we ask that you please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and other electronic devices. For your safety, please take a moment to locate the nearest exit. To learn more about our upcoming performances and events, please visit our website.
Frente al pelotón de fusilamiento, el coronel Aureliano Buendía había de recordar aquella tarde remota en que su padre lo llevó a conocer el hielo. Many years later, as he faced the firing squad, the Colonel Aureliano Buendía was to remember that distant afternoon in which his father took him to discover the ice. It's with these words that Gabriel Garcia Marquez begins the novel 100 Years of Solitude, which would become the model for magical realism throughout Latin America. And what's fascinating about the genre is not actually the magic, which is ironic, because things that seem bizarre to us as readers or viewers are completely normal to the people in the story. So, we instead turn our fascination towards the mundane and everyday things. Because that's why, in front of the firing squad, The Colonel does not focus on the flying carpets, the girls ascending to heaven, or the blood slithering through the streets like a snake. He only remembers his father and the ice. And so with that, let's begin the 2023 edition of LatinX. My name is Drew Morgan. I hosted for the first time 2 years ago, but last year, as I was abroad, my friend Jose stepped in for me. But where I'm from in Tennessee, we like to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sorry, Jose. He gave me permission for that one, so it's okay. So for those here for the first time, Latinx in this case refers to the name of the show, Latin Expression, not that silly little word that people think Latinos like to be called. So tonight, we hope to give you a magical experience. You'll see dancing, singing, poetry, and even some performance. So without further ado, let's welcome tonight's openers, one of the hottest new clubs on campus that'll make you want to move your feet. Everyone, let's welcome Ritmo ND.
Hola, me llaman Romeo. Es un placer conocerla. Qué bien te ves, te adelanto, no me importa quién sea él. Dígame usted si ha hecho algo travieso alguna vez. Una aventura es más divertida si huele a peligro. Si te invito a una copa y me acerco a tu boca, si te robo un besito, abre que no vas conmigo. ¿Qué dirías si esta noche te seduzco en mi coche? Que se empañen los vidrios y las reglas que goces. Si te falto el respeto y luego culpo al alcohol, si levanto tu falda me darías el derecho a medir tu sensatez, poner en juego tu cuerpo. Si te parece prudente esta propuesta indecente, it feels good to be king. Gustoso.
Zumba. Hoy sigue así.
So while it's very true that every country has its own style of dance, the regions within the same country can vary a lot as well. In this song you're listening to right now, México en la piel, it says so by saying, en el sur se toca con marimba, en el norte con acordeón. AKA, in the south they play with marimba, and in the north with accordion. And so the next group tonight is a group of students from a class put on by ILS, which is, if you don't know, the Institute for Latino Students, the Institute of Latino Studies. But hey, what's the difference? They're going to be performing a couple songs for us tonight, and they've been working hard all semester, so basically if they don't pass, it's also kind of your fault. But what's interesting about Baile Folklorico is that it does have some origins in indigenous styles of dance. However, what you may not know is that it also is modeled after the way one has to hop, skip, and jump as they walk through the sidewalks in Mexico. So, without further ado, let's welcome our next group, ILS Baile Folklorico. Now, by show of hands, who's seen the movie Life of Pi? Okay, more than I expected, but that's good. So this movie is a great recent example of magical realism, because in it there's swarms of flying fish, whales leaping from glowing water, there's animals trapped on a lifeboat, and even a carnivorous island. And all of these we just kind of learn to accept. Instead, we focus on why Pi named his tiger after Peter Parker's father, Richard Parker, as if to say, with great power, maybe I won't eat you. But what's also interesting about this movie is it stays real to the feel of a place, because eventually Pi washes up on a beach in Mexico, and the people who find him are heard saying, "No mames, güey, está pedo." But in any case, our next group is here to bring a little bit more of that magic to the stage. Troupe ND is a close-knit dance group community that is focused on it's focused on jazz and hip-hop, but tonight they're bringing Latin flair to that hip-hop dance with some Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull, with some moves that'll make you want to move to Miami.
make you move to Miami. She move it like a gypsy. Her body got me tipsy. I should take a step back, fall back. This girl got me feeling risky. She ready for the take, and I got the motivation. Cause when you see your dance, there's a chance you might not come home from vacation.
And if you look, you'll fall in love. She got that ass, she make it clap. She leave you shook, and now you hooked. The way she dance,
she gon' make you move to Miami. She gon' make you move. She gon' make you move to Miami. She gon' make you move. She gon' make you move to Miami. Oh yeah. She gon' make you move to Miami. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we gon' party. Freaking every weekend, baby, we just getting started. Y síguete moviendo, que todos te están viendo. Damn, you got me, girl, that body's built like a Bugatti.
and if you look, you'll fall in love. She got that ass, she make it clap. She leave you shook, and now you hooked. The way she dance,
she gon' make you move to
what happens in Miami never happened. She said no hands, booty still clapping. She wanna be Eve, baby, here's an apple. Welcome to the booty shaking capital. M.I.A. where the mummies are the scream, where the mummies get loose, where the mummies don't play, when their bodies like boom, when their booties like bang. Yeah, those high, man.
She gon' make you move to Miami. She gon' make you move. She gon' make you move to Miami. She gon' make you move. She gon' make you move to Miami. Yeah. Oh yeah. She gon' make you move to Miami.
Question to think about is, why is a show about Latinos and run by Latinos being done mainly in English? Well, let me show you. So if you can understand me right now, just raise your hand high, which if you're slow, I'll give you a second, that's everybody. Y ahora si me sigues entendiendo, bájate la mano. You can see now with just a little change in the language, I've already lost part of the audience. And this is because language is one of the most fundamental ways in which we connect with each other. And what's more beautiful is that each country can connect more locally with its own dialect. That's why if I say, as a Mexican, a mí me encanta comer las conchas cada día con mi desayuno, that'd be something very different if you were Argentinian. I'm glad some of you got that, because I worked very hard on that joke. But the reality of many Latinos in this country is that they live between two languages, and so they connect with more people. And so our next performer is going to utilize both of those languages to give us some poetry. Recently, he's launched his own poetry website called KC Expressions, and so tonight he'll read 2 poems from that collection. So let's lend our ears to Mr. KC.
Ese señor, oh, qué bendición. Amén. Yo soy catracho de corazón.
There we go. How's it going, guys? I'm gonna be performing 2 poems for y'all today. This first poem centers around a lot. Harassment at work, threats to deportation, unfairness in education, lack of healthcare, discrimination, and barely any rights. Those are some of the things my people face in the United States. A country that we helped build, and I am tired of it because although we get the shorter end of the stick, we are still portrayed as the bad guys. This poem is titled, Mi Gente. ¿Qué piensas cuando me ves? What goes through your head when you see mi gente? Because according to the media, we are invaders of your country. According to the media, we are aliens in a country that we helped build. Are these your thoughts? ¿En verdad piensas que mi gente no merece estar acá? Well, let me tell you about my people. Let me tell you the things that the media won't broadcast. Mi gente is hardworking. We have helped build this country from the ground up. We do the jobs that no one else wants to do because someone has to do them, and they bring food to the table. We barely take any days off, and we put in overtime like no other. Mi gente is extravagant. We have given you a wide variety of food, dances, traditions, music, and so much more. We have shown you our cultures, and you have tried to assimilate them. Mi gente is full of dreamers. We dream big and work hard to make those dreams come true. We try our hardest to persevere no matter how hard life gets. And although the system was created to work against us, we still cling to the bit of hope that's there. Because you can take everything away from us, but you'll never take our dreams. So stop listening to the bad things the media says about my people. Because as far as I can see, my people, mi gente, we exemplify the American dream better than most Americans. Identity is something that I struggle with here at ND. Being Afro-Latino, being sometimes too Latino for the blacks and too black for the Latinos, it was something that I had to tackle. This next poem consists of 3 languages, Spanish, English, and Garifuna. ¿Quién soy yo? Look at me. Do you know where I'm from? Do you hear the accent in my voice, or are you still in denial? ¿Qué es lo que tengo que hacer para probarte a ti que no soy tu típico negro en los Estados Unidos? Yo soy garífuna. Yo soy catracho. Yo soy afro-latino. Shocking, right? Un garífuna hondureño en Notre Dame. Yo pensaba que ellos eran buenos para nada. Well, Numada, like I said before, no soy tu típico negro en los Estados Unidos. I am talented, I am greatness, I am exquisite. That's who I am. Despite all the stereotypes, despite all the hardships, I'm still here. Rompiendo cadenas, como mi mamá siempre dice. I know who I am. And to me, that's enough. So next time you come questioning me about who I am, all I'm going to say is, Katabusan, who are you? Thank you.
There it is. One point that Casey kind of brushes up against is the idea of colorism in Latin America. And anyone who's accidentally called a Dominican black knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because they'll insist up and down, I know black, papi, I know black, I'm Dominican. But they'll be darker than me, having 4C hair, but they'll try to salsa it off. I know black, it's not the same, papi, it's not the same. But even that salsa they're dancing has African roots, as does the bombo in Puerto Rico, as does the samba in Brazil, as does reggaeton. And even Caribbeans themselves aren't born from a womb. They're peeled open like a plátano, which, by the way, came from Africa. And Afro-Latino culture is pretty present in this country as well. Just look at any MLB roster. Or the last halftime show, which was Rihanna. And Rihanna is black, and she's from Barbados, which is like a stone's throw from Puerto Rico. I mean, her being black is like the second thing you notice about her, with the first obviously being the big old forehead. So, so our next group is going to be a special appearance from Dance Africa, who are here to reiterate my point on colorism. They'll perform a mix of songs from Nigeria, Ghana, and Trinidad and Tobago. But they're going to start with Miss Fenty as they reenact Rude Boy from her halftime performance. So let's hear it for them.
Come here, rude boy, boy, can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, to. Mansion on the hills, half if you want to. But that's only if you want to. Se me baila ahora, le mete sudando su cuerpo de mora.
De toda la baby, ella es la campeona. Se pone loquita si me escucha en la emisora. Y ahora,
se me baila ahora, le mete sudando su cuerpo de mora.
de toda la baby, ella es la campeona. Se pone loquita si me escucha en la emisora. Y ahora, de pensar que yo contigo quiero estar. Querer probar algo de ti para no olvidar. Yo no me sé ni su nombre.
Allez, tue-moi ça, baby. C'est facile pour toi, baby. Il est comme toi, y'en a pas, baby. Allez, tue-moi ça, baby. Oh non, petit cœur est tombé. Ça fait mal à aïe, petit cœur est tombé. Ça fait mal à aïe, petit cœur est tombé. Ça fait mal à aïe, petit cœur est tombé. Ça fait mal à aïe. Elle est belle comme ça, elle est belle comme ça. C'est qu'elle est belle comme ça, elle est belle comme ça. Elle est belle comme ça, non, c'est qu'elle est belle comme ça. Elle est belle comme ça, elle est belle comme ça. Elle est belle comme ça, non, c'est qu'elle est belle comme ça.
Yeah. It's off for the money about come on my way. Go.
Obi Antone Collection. Obi Antone Collection. Yeah, be Obi Antone Collection.
What else?
Body. Obi Antone Collection. Obi Antone Collection. Obi Antone Collection. Body.
Yeah. Memma woni pe bi embu abonfia. Ahopo pro mo yenye na bu huntia. Oya wo time for jano manivia. Yambu amu amunsi na bumpia.
Se upe mo anyo menyi na edi. Nana nyameni ya wakano ne bebe mo. Se uma usa swabi ponyi ne tutu. So my party don't lose God, can't walk home my door, yeah. Everybody singing hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody singing hallelujah, hallelujah. Make me sing, oh, oh yeah, yeah. I say happy sing, oh, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Like say, me I supposed to go holiday, but I want to stay. She thought I was lazy. She said, baby, don't play me. When I hear the shit, be screaming my name. Drive me now crazy. She want it on a daily. She call me on the phone, said she wanna know if I come back again. If I come back again, I give her like that. I'm a Yankee bitch. She make I go. I'm a Yankee bitch.
Carnival and TNT is so special to all our we. Like we need blood in the vein. That's how we feel about Brother Spain. When you put it in coming toys, in Patan Abungo, drum is madness everywhere. Carnival is a true freedom. Make a noise or a for someone jump up in the air. So everybody take a jump, take a jump, take a jump up now. Start a wave, start a wave, start a wave up now. Start a wine, start a wine, start a wine up now because it's Carnival.
Now, sometimes things just tend to sound better in Spanish. And to prove my point, I brought a friend to translate this next introduction into Spanish. So everyone, say hello to Ping Pong. Diles hola. So, the 2000s were home to some pretty iconic movies.
Los años 2000 tenían películas chingonas.
I'm talking Spy Kids,
Mini espías.
Transformers,
Los transformadores.
Mamma Mia,
La madre tuya.
Happy Feet,
Los pingüinos.
and of course, Shrek.
Y Shrek.
In those years, Shrek had crap everywhere to advertise the movie.
El ogro cagó en todas partes.
And what's more interesting is that it looked like a paint bomb went off in every grocery store.
Shrek tenía diarrea verde y explosiva.
And what's even more interesting than that is that in the movie, Donkey does not find waffles in the woods, he finds tamales. They had to change the cultural references to fit the language.
El burro mexicano prefiere tamales.
This is also why, in the interrogation scene, they had to change the Muffin Man to Ping Pong.
Yo hice mejor la película.
So our next group is going to take us through that iconic interrogation scene. So let's hear it for Los Hermanos de Nuestra Dama.
Denme un aplauso.
Corre, 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 que nadie te podrá atrapar. No me podrás alcanzar. ¡Soy el hombre del jengibre! ¡Eres un monstruo! El único monstruo aquí eres tú. Tú y esos personajes de cuentos que antes quiero unir en mi mundo perfecto. Ahora dime, ¿dónde están los otros? ¡Cerdo! Ha tratado de ser paciencia con ustedes. Pero mi paciencia ha llegado a su límite. Ahora dime, ¿o te darán cara? No, no mis botones, no mis botones de comida. Entonces dime qué es lo que ocultan. Ok, me recuerdo, te lo cuento. ¿Conoces a Pimpón? ¿Pimpón? Sí, Pimpón. Sí, un muñeco muy guapo. ¿Hecho de cartón? Sí, se lava su carita con agua y con jabón. ¿Con agua y con jabón? Sí, se lava su carita. Se lava la carita con agua y con jabón. Ñe.
Now, we've already seen some Baile Folklorico tonight, but I'm willing to bet you all would like to see some more. So next up is Baile Folklorico Azul y Oro, aka Bifeo, aka the best dance group on campus. Now, I spent 2 years in the club, so I'm a little biased, so just take that with a grain of salt. However, to continue with tonight's theme, all of their songs will revolve around animals. And so first up is El Toro Mambo, the bull who dances mambo. Now, this song comes from the northern part of Mexico in the state of Sinaloa and features a bull running and dancing with the performers. And this is a very different depiction from bulls in Spain. And the reason is because in Spain, bulls run, in Mexico, bulls dance, and in America, bulls shit. So, with that in mind, let's welcome Bifeo to the stage. Now, we're about to have a short intermission, but before we go, since there's no acts next, I want to dedicate this part to some jokes I think, well, I hope only seniors will get. So, number one, culture. Whoa. There's some alumni here as well, so I got more laughs than I thought I would. Number two, the only difference between your rector and next you laughed really hard. We can talk about it later. Number two, the only difference between your rector and Xbox Joe is that you're happy to see Xbox Joe when you're drunk after a night out. Anybody know if he's still in jail? Oh, nice, thanks, good to hear it. Number three, the only thing better than going down on your lady is going down on the dining hall food from our first year. Number four, this is not a joke, I just want to hear it one more time before we all forget Zong, so I need some participation. Let me hear it. Thank you. You said it so I don't get fired. So, before we take 50 minutes, we're going to take 50 minutes now, and we will see you soon.
cintura. Tú eres mía, tú eres mía, vamos a hacerlo otra vez, vamos a hacerlo otra vez. Tú eres mía, vamos a hacerlo otra vez.
Ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales G5 en un capsulón.
Y desde que salí, todos quieren repetir, pero ando en otra, baby, ya me fui. Y ahora ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón.
Y ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón.
Y la baba está de 5, baby, pa' dentro no se ve. Podemos bellaquear, también podemos prender. Yo te quiero esposar como si fuera un cuartel. Un Airbnb o nos vamos pa' un hotel. Donde quieras te como, pa' escaparnos tú dime cómo. Dime si somos o no somos, a ninguno perdono. Este booty se va trending y eso sin darle promo.
Hasta abajo desde los 16, desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. El de me explotó, pero es que no hay break. Lo comimos hoy, mañana replay.
Hasta abajo desde los 16, desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. Desde me explotado, pero es que no hay break. Nos comimos hoy, mañana replay.
Y ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón.
Ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón.
Me aburrí de la jipeta y saqué un maquinón, que cuando lo acelero sienten la presión. Bellaquita de profesión, fue tapa el problemón. Mis diablas andan todas de misión. Ando en un Lamborghini que la alfombra dice diablo. Pa' arriba la puerta si la abro, baby. Compararme con la que sea, yo la parto. Hijo va a ser millonario desde el parto. De mi baby ninguna le baja. La Jordan nueva de caja. Y la cuenta nadie me la paga. Te gustan como yo, no te hagas. Hasta abajo desde los 16, desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. Me tiran pero es que no hay break. Nos conocimos hoy, mañana replay.
Hasta abajo desde los 16, desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. Desde me explotado, pero es que no hay break. Nos comimos hoy, mañana replay.
La verdadera bichota, papi.
Y la tóxica.
Ya tú sabes. Karol G con Mariachi.
Ey, cuidado, que venimos por ahí con un flow bien cabrón.
Ay. Tengo par de baby explotando Marcel y yo pensando en ti, estoy a tu merced. Tú siempre estás mojada y yo que tengo sed. Dime qué vamos a hacer, que tengo par de baby explotando Marcel y yo pensando en ti, estoy a tu merced. Tú siempre estás mojada y yo que tengo sed. Ay, ay, ay. Y ellas están buenas, pero tú estás mejor. Trae pesto y alcohol, por ti les picheo, las tengo en hall. Y yo detrás de ti como un chambol. Y si quieres te busco en la Lamborghini. Si te lo hago tan chulo como Anuel o Karol G. ¿Quieres perreo, no balada? Tú eres una picha esta pieza. No somos nada, ey. Pero con un perreo se empieza. No sales de mi cabeza. Mami, concédeme esta pieza. No somos nada, ey. Pero con un perreo se empieza. No sales de mi cabeza, ey. Y todos los culos en Miami explotándome el cel. Y yo pensando en ti, estoy a tu merced. Tú siempre estás mojada y yo que tengo sed, dime qué vamos a hacer. Que tengo par de baby explotándome el cel. Y yo pensando en ti, estoy a tu merced. Tú siempre estás mojada y yo que tengo sed, dime qué vamos a hacer. Pásame la juca, que el coro ya está prendido. Las mujeres andan sin marido. Pásame la juca.
Now, magical realism has also been known to dabble in the supernatural. Take the novel Beloved by Toni Morrison, for example, in which the ghost of one's dead daughter returns as an adult, lives with her, and then walks away one day with no further explanation. Or take this building, which is actually home to the ghost of George Gipp, a football player who died from pneumonia in 1920. Now, I actually work in this building, and I've spent many late nights closing here. And on certain nights, I've heard things that I still can't explain. And it was on one particular night that I heard something that I couldn't explain. And at first it was faint, and I just tried to ignore it. But then I heard 3 distinct stomps from the balcony. Look! It's the Gipper!
Ooh, sorry, that was me!
Why don't you come to the stage, Mr. Gipper? Now, can I say what an honor it is to finally meet you?
Yeah, of course. I'd say it's nice to meet you, but I know everything about you. There's not much else to do when you're dead.
Okay. So...
Ghost humor.
What's it like spending an eternity here in Washington Hall?
Well, it'd be spending any moment of time in South Dining Hall.
Well said. And so what do you usually do to fill your time, since you're obviously dead?
Well, most nights I relive my death and wail in agony. But I try to save it for when everyone leaves.
Very kind of you. But what I want to know is, have you ever had the chance to see any of the shows here?
Yeah, well, I'm usually able to squeeze a show or two in, between Crying into the Abyss, Dinner with Myself. I've seen every show for free.
Perfect. So, would you actually help me introduce our next group, since you've probably already seen the program, haven't you?
Well, what more is there to say? They're the hottest, the newest club on campus. And they make me wish I still had feet so I could move my hips, see?
Well, actually, I think you might be able to help me move my body.
Oh, word?
Oh. For the second time tonight, let's welcome Ritmo ND.
Te bloqueé de Insta, pero por otra cuenta veo tus historias. Tu número lo borré, no sé pa' qué si me lo sé de memoria. Me hiciste daño y así noche, el dinero y el alcohol. Me volví mujeriego, perdóname, Señor. Ay, 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 soy un mujeriego. Ay, 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 yo nunca lo niego. Cuando me roba una, chao y hasta luego. Ay, 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 me gritan mujeriego. Todas las veo buenas, si bebo ron, la blanquita y la morena. Si bebo ron, la gordita care tierna. Si bebo ron, la flaquita care Barbie bailando en el balcón. Ay, 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 soy un mujeriego. Ay, 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 yo nunca lo niego. Cuando me roba una, chao y hasta luego. Ay, 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 me gritan mujeriego.
Listen to these words. Great quote. You don't want to hear me, you just want to dance. Now, it is kind of funny, but it is also very true because we often don't realize the things we're singing along to. I'm pretty confident in saying that machismo is kind of a big problem in our community. But I'm also one of the ones that wants to bust a move when I hear Obsesión no eres mía. Or I'll sing along to La Media Vuelta by Luis Miguel, in which he says, Yo sé que mi cariño te hace falta, porque quieras o no, yo soy tu dueño, which, I mean, come on. But that's not to say all the things we sing are bad. It's by singing things over and over that we continue our culture through generations. And sometimes we might just need to be more aware of what we're singing. But our next group is going to sing about the good parts of Mexico, because nobody's ever sad when they hear or see a mariachi band. So, let me welcome Mariachi ND to the stage.
Llorona, cuando al pasar yo te vi, salías de un templo un día. Llorona, cuando al pasar yo te vi, hermoso huipil llevabas, Llorona, que la Virgen te creí. Hermoso huipil llevabas, Llorona, que la Virgen te creí. no sabe de amores, llorona, no sabe lo que es martirio. El que no sabe de amores, llorona, no sabe lo que es martirio. Nos dejan, nos vamos a querer toda la vida. Si nos dejan, nos vamos a vivir a un mundo nuevo. Yo creo podemos ver el nuevo amanecer de un nuevo día. Pienso que tú y yo podemos ser felices todavía. Si nos dejan, buscamos un rincón cerca del cielo. Si nos dejan, haremos con las nubes terciopelo. Y ahí, juntitos los dos, cerquita de Dios, será lo que soñamos. Si nos dejan, te llevo de la mano, corazón, y ahí nos vamos. Buscamos un rincón cerca del cielo. Si nos dejan, haremos con las nubes terciopelo. Y ahí, juntitos los dos, cerquita de Dios, será lo que soñamos. Si nos dejan, te llevo de la mano, corazón, y ahí nos vamos. Si nos dejan, de todo lo demás nos olvidamos. Si nos dejan, si nos dejan.
Find a song that matched this year's theme, magical realism. So we enlisted a little bit of help from Victor Pichardo, who is a wonderful mariachi instructor in mariachi himself. And when I told him about the theme, he was like, magical realism is just what people call it because they don't understand it. The magic is out there, and you know when you're part of the culture. And he suggested this song called Xochipitahuatl, which means beautiful flower. And the song relates back to way back in El Cerro de Tepeyac. There used to be a temple for an indigenous goddess called Tonantzin. And then the Catholic Church built a church for Our Lady of Guadalupe there. But for years and years afterwards, indigenous people would still make the trek all the way to El Cerro to revere their goddess Tonantzin. So this song kind of celebrates the both of them and invites us to revere both of them.
compañeros di Pasciano di Maria, di Mauiolo si patronanzi, Santa Maria Guadalupe, di acá compañeros di Pasciano di Maria, di Mauiolo si patronanzi, Santa Maria Guadalupe. Compañeros a visitar a María y veneraremos a Tonantzin, Santa María Guadalupe. Vengan todos compañeros a visitar a María y veneraremos a Tonantzin, Santa María Guadalupe.
More about singing culture. What sound does a country make? Not the language they speak, nor the music they make. What do they make a sound as you walk through it? Now, maybe that doesn't make sense, but let me ask you, what sound does a forest make? Now that's pretty clear. It's a collection of wind blowing, leaves rustling, cicadas, owls, coyotes, what have you. But it's very rare that one country has such a specific and defining sound that it makes, whether it's in its forest or in other places. But one such place would be the island of Puerto Rico, also known by its nickname, La Isla del Encanto. So, this special sound that you're hearing is called el coqui. It's the national animal of Puerto Rico, named for the sound that it makes. Coqui? Yeah, you got it. Puerto Ricans every night will fall asleep to these sweet sounds and find peace and comfort in their beds. So our next performer is going to bring a little bit of that same Encanto to the stage. She's going to be singing a song by her current husband, Marc Anthony, and dedicating it to her future husband, Jason Maxwell. Les presento a Alejandra Rodriguez.
Te amo así, con todo el pensamiento. ¿Cómo logras entrar así sin preguntar, robándote el momento? ¿Cómo es que te amo así, sin tanto sufrimiento. Como es que es natural que cada amanecer quiero parar el tiempo. Es que te he dado todo y nada es suficiente. No porque me lo pides, sino porque faltan frenos al quererte. Oh, ¿qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. ¿Qué más que darte amor? Yo quiero regalarte el sol de los días. ¿Qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. Si yo con esta historia siento que la gloria ha llegado a mi vida. ¿Qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. Yo pago con mi alma sin temor a nada. Yo te doy mi vida. Esta noche te doy de todo cuanto tengo y no me doy abasto con imaginar qué mundo yo te invento. Y desde aquí se ven las nubes y los vientos. Por eso aquí te traje, porque por lo pronto es todo lo que tengo. Es que te he dado todo y nada es suficiente. No porque me lo pides, sino porque faltan frenos al quererte. Oh, ¿qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. ¿Qué más que darte amor? Yo quiero regalarte el azul de los días. ¿Qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. Que por eso por historia siento que la gloria ha llegado a mi vida. ¿Qué precio tiene el cielo? Que alguien me lo diga. Yo pago con mi alma sin temor a nada. Yo te doy mi vida. Eternamente yo te inventaría, como esta tantas otras melodías, para no faltarte si te faltó un día. La luna, los mares, mi vida.
Dime qué precio tiene.
Y es que te he dado de todo y nada suficiente. Te lo digo de frente.
¿Qué precio tiene?
Oye, papá, te lo voy a dar con mi alma, lo voy a pagar. Que me lo diga, alguien que me lo diga, que me lo diga. Que me lo diga, que me lo diga, alguien que me lo diga, que me lo diga. Que me lo diga, que me lo diga, alguien que me lo diga, que me lo diga.
Wrong intro. I was one step ahead, guys. Now you know the magic trick for the next one. Magical realism has place in literature, but it also has a lot of place in art. That wasn't planned. So let's look through a few examples. Magical realism is characterized in art by a deception of reality and a distortion of what our eyes see. This looks like an eye at first glance, but it's actually just a fish in a pond. Wrong one. The scale kind of gets distorted here from a landscape to a bedroom. This one looks like a waterfall, but turns into a group of women. And this one at first just looks like a random assortment of colors, but at closer glance, you'll get a hint for our next act of the night. And if you guessed Bifeo, you'd be correct. The next song they're going to perform is called El Caravan, which comes from the southern part of Mexico in the state of Chiapas. It basically is a song about the mating ritual for this bird, which looks like it has a perpetual bombastic side eye. So, without further ado, let's welcome for the second time tonight, Bifeo. Now, who here, by show of hands, watched the World Cup last semester? Ooh, wow, more people than I thought. What I love about the sport of soccer is that it has a way of just rallying people together for a common cause. For example, during the Mexico versus Poland game, so many of us showed up to Dunkin' that we made it look like a TJ Maxx or a Ross. And in reality, a lot of Latin American countries kept supporting each other, and then of course we just all supported Argentina when our countries got knocked out anyway. And sports in general, whether we like it or not, and especially on a global stage, can be very political, because some people just chose to root against any country with histories of colonization. And this made the final between Argentina and France a little difficult to choose sides, because on the one hand, there were 11 white men of European descent, and on the other hand was France. I don't know if you get that joke. That shows that you did watch the game, actually. But again, the pull of soccer is not about the ball, it's about the unison. So our next group is another dance group that's going to show a little bit more of that unison with their bodies. So let's welcome this time Transpose.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper. Toda mi gente se mueve. Mira el ritmo como los tiene. Hago música que entretiene. Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así. ¿Y dónde está mi gente? ¿Y dónde está mi
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para, apenas comienza. C'est comme ça, ma chérie. La 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 la. Francia, Colombia, me gusta. Freeze. J Balvin, Willy William, te gusta. Freeze. Los DJ no mienten, le gusta mi gente, eso se fue muy. Freeze. No le bajamos, mas nunca paramos, eso tomado y blanco.
¿Y dónde está mi gente? Que fue a poner la gente. ¿Y dónde está mi gente? Sí,
Una de azúcar, dame dos de azúcar, dame tres de azúcar. Blanqui morena, una de azúcar, dame dos de azúcar, dame tres de azúcar. Blanqui morena, una de azúcar, dame dos de azúcar, dame tres de azúcar. Blanqui morena, una de azúcar, dame dos de azúcar, dame tres de azúcar. Blanqui morena, blanqui morena.
The marimba, the conga, the güiro, that's maracas, some of the defining instruments of the Americas. But we also took instruments from Europe and made them our own. I'm from Tennessee, and if you hand anyone their violin, it becomes a fiddle. But the instruments that we choose in our music those instruments have a way of taking us to places we've never been to before. That was the trick. I jumped the gun on that last one. But without further ado, our next performer is going to make this stage her own and give us a performance that is truly golden. So let's welcome Miss Dani Alway. Another good recent example of magical realism in movies is the movie Encanto, which actually draws heavily from the work of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Because the most fascinating thing in this movie is not actually the house with the mind of its own, the Uncle Bruno who can see the future, or the arepas that can cure any ailment. What's most fascinating is that the abuela actually chooses to apologize to her granddaughter. But at the end of the day, Encanto is not actually about magic. That's just the cherry on top. It's actually about family. So our next group, they say good things come in threes. And our next group, performing for the third time tonight, will be Ritmo ND. So let's hear it and let's be loud.
Amores como el nuestro que daña muy pocos. El cielo cae en estrellas sin oír deseos. Deshojar una rosa y es cosa de tontos. A nadie le interesan ya los sentimientos. Como los unicornios. No debe morir jamás.
Shakira, Shakira. ¿Cómo se llama? Bonita, mi casa. Shakira, Shakira.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise and keep on reading the signs of my body.
Let me see you move like you come from Colombia.
Mira, en Barranquilla se baila así.
Do you ever get deja vu, like the feeling we've already seen in this part of the show? Do you ever get deja vu, like the feeling we've already seen this part of the show? But what are we as humans if not a form of deja vu? Isn't embracing our culture a form of repetition in itself? Repeating everything that the generations before us did, and hoping that the following ones will keep repeating them, and hopefully take out the parts that no longer suit them. And actually, is it okay to share that sense of deja vu, in a sense to share our culture? Well, a few performers tonight would say yes. There are several performers on stage who are not Latino, but they have been killing it out there. And one particular performer, who goes by the name of Jack, who has been in most of the acts in this second act, has been also killing it. Now, he can't poke his head out right now, but in the next act, just look for the only white guy in a sea of brown, and you'll see him. Jack would say, of course it's okay to share our culture. I'm doing it right now. I would say, I'm rocking with Mark, because Mark is rocking with us. And another question that might be on your mind is, after all of this dancing and singing and everything else, are we sure this old stage can take any more? After all, it opens in 1881, which I have to know because I work here. But As a building worker, not as your MC, I'm here to assure you that though this building is much older, the floors are a lot more stable than the ones at Casa La Raza. Love you, Victor! So for our last act tonight, let's indulge in a little deja vu. Let's indulge ourselves one more time as we welcome BFO to the stage. They are our last act of the night, so I want to hear you clap your hands and stomp your feet. Let's hear it one more time for BFO and all of our performers tonight. Thank you. Now, it would be a mistake for me not to thank all the people who made this show possible and made my job a bit easier. That script went through many versions, and some of those jokes were not even mine. So let's start at the obvious place, our co-directors of the show, Andres and Juvia. Let's also thank the stage crew, who made everything keep moving and also took a part in my crazy gimmicks. Let's also not forget to thank the people who actually brought the magic to the stage, the light and sound people, Grace and Daniel. Now, I'm legally contracted to say this next part, so let's thank the Washington Hall staff and my bosses, Kat and Paige. There's also one more person I'd like to thank, who I did not put in the script, but don't worry, the cue is still the same. So, I've had a very difficult semester between all my classes, working 2 jobs, and not being able to have any time to sleep at all. I've lost many hours of sleep this night, and I worked very hard to make this show possible. But one person worked behind the scenes to allow me to do this show for y'all, because without her, none of this would be possible. And she also says that I never buy her flowers. So with all of you as my witness, I would like to give some flowers to my girlfriend, Ivanis. And apparently my suegro is watching, so I hope you like me better, Yuan. But the last people I'd like to thank are you all, the audience, for coming out on your Friday night and spending it with all of us. So give yourselves a round of applause. But before we part ways tonight, I'd like to leave us with one more thing to think about. So let's close our eyes and picture this scene, and I mean close them. Let's imagine me holding our hands out to the side. Gripping your right hand is all the people who came before you, a line stretching so far that you cannot see the end. And gripping your left hand, maybe no one's there yet. Maybe there's only 1 or 2. These are the people who are yet to come, and I hope your eyes are still closed. This is all we are as humans. We are generations of people holding hands with the past and the future as we face the storms of the present. And this is what we have to do, what we must do, because we cannot allow ourselves to be cast aside. We cannot allow ourselves to let go of those hands. Porque las estirpes condenadas a 100 años de soledad no tenían una segunda oportunidad sobre la tierra. Buenas noches.